Hello and welcome everyone, Lionheart here with Sparta.
Hello there.
And we're here with a Warcast Extra, and we're going to be joined by Creative Assembly's community manager for Total War Warhammer, Joey from CA, or Miss Joey Berry, for those of you that follow her on YouTube.
Joey Berry.
The Joey Berry.
Yeah.
the berryist. I don't know if that's a thing. So you might be thinking, hang on, where's Rambler? Well, obviously, as you guys, I think he did mention this in a Warcast previously, and he has got a video on his channel. We'll try and link to it so you guys know what's going on. But he recently got a job in the games industry at a company called Dovetail Games. They're a developer that make Train Simulator and Fishing Simulator. Warrior Sparta's done a pretty fun video on Fishing Simulator if you want to go check that out.
Yeah, that was fun.
But obviously, because of that, because he works for a kind of another development studio, it means he can't be involved with kind of like preview stuff at Creative Assembly, unfortunately. So just in case you guys were missing him, we've stuck a picture up that he sent us of him eating some pizza. So Rambler is still very much here. Look at that face, eating some good cheese and pepperoni.
He likes his cheese.
He likes his cheese. Anyway, time to meet Miss Joey Berry.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Joey, as you know, because we've met before quite a few times.
Yes,
We have indeed.
Yep,
Indeed.
and I am the community coordinator for Total War Warhammer.
Awesome.
That is me. So yeah.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
I was going to say, well, what on a personal level, Joey, is your interest in Warhammer? Tell me a bit about where the love started.
Oh, there's a long history. I mean, a brief overview of where this began. I have had my own YouTube channel. About 5 years ago, I started it on teaching beginners how to play and get into Warhammer tabletop. And I've never been an expert on all things, bit of a jack of all trades, master of none, because there's quite a lot involved with the tabletop. There's obviously the hobby side, the building, the painting, and then there's the actual gameplay and the rules. So I used to go to tournaments. I covered a couple when I was doing a channel. I went to Poland and covered like a professional independent tournament, and I got really into the general community hub, and that's pretty much how I got here as a community coordinator, from a lot of support from my YouTubers, the watchers, and I think good old Craig Laycock saw my videos and was like,
awesome,
she would be good for the job.
For the
and let's
job,
hope that I am.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
You can finally reveal your title after all these years.
That's it.
Yeah. Because didn't you start sort of when Rome 2 was out, or coming out, wasn't it? Because I remember seeing only a couple of videos before Rome 2 came out. So,
yes, that's it. I think it was 2 months before Rome 2 was launched was when it started, and I think the second week everyone went to E3, so I was a bit like,
guys,
starting something really new. But it's been a crazy experience, and I think the benefit of having Rome 2 and Attila really built me up to this point now, so I'm very excited to start.
To sort of look at how projects run in terms of the industry, and then you're prepped for, as you say, when Warhammer comes. So
Exactly.
Oh, cool. So, what has been going on since Warhammer's been announced earlier this year? What's been going on?
Loads. We've obviously been to E3.
Oh yeah.
Where we showed the kind of a demo of the Blackfire Pass, Empire versus Greenskins, Orcs and Goblins, and that was really well received.
Yeah.
Really well received. And
the press loved it.
Yeah, and it's really a beautiful surrounding as well. I mean, it's quite a Blackfire Pass is a very historic moment in the history, and it's really where Sigmar, as the emperor at the time, fought alongside King Kurgan to kind of push back these orcs and goblins, and as a reward got Golmaraz, the Warhammer.
Right.
So it's really it's a huge moment. So this is part of the quest chains. If you've been hearing about this,
I was just going to ask you this. This links into this.
Yes. Yeah. So this is like how you can level up your lords and legendary lords, and to get them to this point where they get these kind of items.
So, because we were talking about this before, and we were saying that obviously, in Attila, it's sort of started now where you're going to get these scenarios that are coming up in campaigns like the Last Roman with Empress Theodora and Belisarius' wife Antonia. You get these scenario situations that happen. Is that going to be established even more so within Warhammer, with you saying these quest sort of storylines that happen, that's sort of going to be developed on from that. I take it sort of things.
Essentially, what there is kind of in the grand scale of things. There's legendary lords and lords, and lords have this kind of their own skill trees that are strategical, tactical, and their own personal combat. So you can advance them that way. But with legendary lords, they're typically named, and that's where they've got these backstories and quest chains of which they bring you to this kind of the final point.
Like Carl Franz, yes,
exactly.
Yeah, okay. You just have this epic battle which will happen to get the reward of what it is that you're questing for, sort of things. Right.
As always with Total War, it's a sandbox experience. You don't necessarily have to do anything.
Because that element of roleplay, doesn't it?
Yeah, precisely. It is very different to the traditional historical Total War.
Yeah.
And while sometimes it's a little bit, this fantastical realm, this universe that is expansive and huge, is very different to our, Roman period shogun. This, very set in people's minds. But really, it's just history of a different form, just in a world that we don't know yet.
The lore that's been, made up from past. I mean, how long has it been going for?
I love it.
Has it been going since the 70s, Warhammer? How long has it been going?
I think it started in the 80s, but it was like a rogue trader thing. So it was a real growth of a title, and the first edition was very different to what the most recent is now. So there's a lot of growth, and then 40k happened. So from a tabletop perspective, they've got these two universes that in some ways are linked, but very much separate. So with Total War Warhammer being set pre-end times, it's in a really big place where in that edition there were 15 armies, while when we released it there's 4 playable: vampires, empire, greenskins, and dwarfs. But this is a trilogy and there's installments coming.
Yes, and I believe there's going to be more parts of the world that are going to be opened up within these trilogies, aren't there? You're going to have a part of the world, the old world, in part 1, and we have another part. It sort of links together, doesn't it?
One big map or something.
Exactly. It will be the biggest Total War experience.
Bigger than Empire, because that was big.
Not necessarily bigger map scale wise, but it will be a massive experience. Branching across all of these worlds, realms, races, and
lovely.
And it's going to be epic, literally.
Epic, yeah. So, Lionheart, are you pondering there? You think?
I am just pondering of lords and legendary lords, and
with your dwarvish beard.
It's getting there.
It is. I'm working on it.
Can I convince you to actually grow it out, to a decent degree? Would that mess up your personal life?
It'll mess up my personal life in that. My girlfriend likes it about this level. This is kind of the
beyond it now.
Yeah, this is the pre-agreed level. Sadly.
Well, I'm pretty good at plaiting. Would she be opposed to me putting in some longer braids on the side?
Record a video of it.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm very up to Lionheart, turning into a dwarf.
Yeah,
I can work with that.
And then
I'm sure we can arrange something.
Yeah, you could do some motion capture with them. Yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun.
Sounds good to me.
Definitely.
So, Karl Franz sits on quite the mighty mount, Deathclaw. He's a griffin, right?
He's like a huge, tiger, but eagle-faced wings.
Big wings, yeah.
He's a beautiful, majestic creature, but he's not like the Demigryphs, which is kind of a lion-eagle hybrid. He's got a tiger bum.
Got some stripes in there, yeah.
He does. He's a magnificent model, honestly.
So, with that, is Karl Franz a feet-on-the-ground infantry chap throughout the game, or can he toggle on and off his Deathclaw mount?
Well, what he can do is he can start on foot, and usually as you're playing Karl Franz from a beginning perspective, he'll be on foot. But when you get to a particular point in the quest, in the skill tree, in the quest chain, you can, unlock Deathclaw, but it would be either mounted or on foot.
Okay.
So this is the case for lords and legendary lords, where you can actually unlock specific mounts that then become available in the battlefield.
Yes, special abilities, magical items, and mounts can be unlocked as you progress in your quest chain. But as I say, this isn't something that you necessarily have to do, but it's definitely a cool aspect.
So definitely kind of like RPG elements there, kind of equipping your heroes with kind of different items and stuff to give them different skills and abilities and things.
Well, it's a big part of Warhammer as a lore and a universe, and tabletop definitely is that you have this ability to have magical items, special abilities, and that are unique to a character and a race. So, that's definitely something that we'd want to bring in, but still being true to Total War as a title.
This is really good, actually, because you're branching into a new genre, as you say. I know, obviously, it's got to be your core Total War game, but you've got this role-playing element into it, and it really makes it that you can play a story out in your campaign. It could be a totally different story to someone else's campaign, and it gives you that sort of sense of that the campaign can be, manipulated into your way of how you want to do it, sort of thing. And I quite like that sort of feeling. It sounds like you can really customize it to what you want it to be. So
yeah, really,
absolutely, So there's loads of options and different routes that you can go in. I remember talking about. I had to do a Q&A quite recently for a group on Steam, and they were talking about diplomacy, and because some races they're not.
You're not going to be diplomatic, are they?
No, and to a point that some are definitely weighted against, but diplomacy is not.
I don't know.
Impossible, but
you just wait for those orcs. They're terrifically misunderstood fellows.
They are misunderstood. They're gentle.
So you say, in the end they'll have a drink with you.
They're fierce and savage. Pardon?
Yeah. So they say they'd have a drink with you in the end, wouldn't they, sort of thing? If you,
and then eat your face.
Come on, have a brew.
No. Yeah.
That's they're I think in the tabletop, they're kind of currency is teeth.
Oh, plenty of them about, right?
Yeah. They like to just rip teeth out and
beautiful
wear it.
You mentioned in the bio today that the Empire is on the brink all the time. It's on the brink of collapse to enemies coming in, internal politics and infighting. Is that represented quite well in the game in terms of how that will be difficult for you to manage that? Like a bit like a Western Roman Empire sort of scenario where you have to try and manage the great empire you've got and the struggle you'll have. Probably
the Empire it's split into provinces. So
is it? Yeah.
Not all of those. From a lore history perspective, the Empire isn't necessarily sharing of its wealth. There are poorer areas, there are richer areas, and Altdorf being the main city is very much a kind of the beacon of the Empire. But it's, there's always warring races, and they're not always getting along. It's a difficult place and position to be in. I feel
things that I've heard and read so far sort of suggest that as the Empire, you're going to have to sort of bring these other lords and houses together to unify the Empire if you're really going to be able to hold off the tide that comes against you potentially.
Yeah, as with Total War, typically speaking, you always have to be careful of your politics and diplomacy and make sure that your house is in order.
That's it.
So, so the Empire as a race, they're a surprisingly diverse race. They've got this kind of heavy artillery, these mythical beasts, but also Altdorf as a major city is the home of the colleges of magic, which is where initially in the history of the Empire, Teclis, who is actually a high elf character, created these colleges, and they're an amazing, beautiful feature when you read about them, and it's huge, and it's important for the fact that in the trailer you see the celestial wizard bring down the comet of Castor.
I was going to say that exactly that. Then.
Yeah, so there's a lot of diversity with the Empire specifically because they have such a wide range of abilities and machinery. Yeah. Which isn't always present in some of the other races, that they make up for it in different ways.
Yeah. And don't we see that in the actual trailer, don't we? We see the comet of Cassandra being summoned, don't we, and bringing down. It's a tremendous sight. And that's what I love about this. It's taken to the war to this incredibly new level of epicness, you know. And it's when we saw the E3 demo, when we saw the foot of Gork coming down, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I couldn't
of
believe
which, that demo, I mean, you guys have seen it, and you liked it, right?
Loved
it looked
it.
good.
Cool. But we're going to be releasing that on the 30th of July as well, so for your guys, that's when we're planning to show you what we've been doing, because, you know, that for the press was a scripted demo, so we're hoping to be as representative to the game, but tomorrow's trailer, because we're kind of talking now, is, going to be in-engine rather than, you know, gameplay footage, but we will see gameplay before the game is released. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, I particularly like the speech that Carl Franz gives at the trailer. I thought it was really epic. It was like, fire you up for it. Great. Loved it.
I mean, he's a legendary lord in Total War, but he is the emperor of the empire.
Exactly, yeah.
There's some, you guys definitely in for a treat. There's some pretty cool, if you ever wanted to see a goblin fly, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's just
so much fun.
beautiful.
It's diverse on another level.
And, especially talking about the diversity of units, you guys will get to see that in that sort of in that battle.
Yeah,
a scripted battle there, because you get to see kind of a lot of the variety. I don't think either of us were expecting to see that kind of variety.
That was it. That was
some
what
of
caught
the
me straight away.
Machinery that they have.
Yeah, it was just so crazy. You had like his tanks of the Empire tanks coming in, and then you had just obviously men on cavalry in a way, and then you've got infantry, and you've got your trolls. Thinking, oh my god, this is just incredible. You know, it really is, and that's why I was so excited when you released the Demigryph trailer on Monday.
Demigryphs are these magnificent elite combat mounts which scythe their way through armor and flesh with their razor-sharp claws and beaks.
Because they caught my eye the instant I saw them on that E3 demo
their
trailer.
movement is so fluid.
It's glorious. It's glorious. The way you pace
say
them.
it, but realistic. I mean, I know they're Demigryphs, beasts, but you know, they're kind of motion. They're prowling.
If you took it as a tiger move, then it looks great, and it run across the battlefield.
Definitely, guys. When you watch the stuff that's on the 30th, you said the actual gameplay's going to go that Battle of Blackfire Pass. That we saw. Keep a close eye on when you actually see the Demigryphs launch themselves into combat, I think is probably the right word.
Very good point.
Demis are a form of monstrous cavalry, and they have this kind of dense, lion-esque musculature. They leverage that mass to thunder into combat and spread fear amongst the enemy ranks.
Interviews that we've seen before, you guys have talked about like the amount of animations and different skeletons of units, and not just to handle the variety, but also to kind of push it and bring it all to life in a way that's, you know, not been done in Total War before. Animation-wise, these things look pretty awesome. I was kind of expecting maybe a few things will look a little bit clunky, but just the scale, you'll see units this big. The
spiders. What are the spiders called, Joey?
Ragnaroks. Or there's you saw with the goblins, they're spider riders as well. So, the big one is the Ragnarok.
Yeah. The Doom Divers.
The Doom Diver, that's a brilliant.
Kamikaze Doom Divers. But yeah, the cavalry, that sense of heavy cav, that literally leaping into the infantry. It's just like, oh god, that sense of charge is great. It really is good.
Our animation team spent a long time studying the movements of these creatures, and the results are very convincing. The way they move really embodies that nobility and that sense of might that these elegant alpha predators display.
So we've been talking a lot about lords and legendary lords, and I'm sure that will probably be the title of this video somewhere, because it's quite a prominent topic that we're talking about. Heroes as well, they're a thing. So
heroes are a thing.
What's different between all these different characters?
Yeah.
Okay, so lords and legendary lords act as your generals.
Right.
Lords have this, their own specific skill trees that can be strategic, tactical, or their own kind of personal combat. Whereas legendary lords are renowned characters within the Warhammer universe. these kind of named, such as Cole Franz, that can have these quest chains that you can unlock special abilities, magic items, and mounts. Heroes act a little like agents did in previous titles. However, there's a huge difference with the fact that you can actually put them into a battle.
Oh.
So their placement on the campaign map is very important for, certain battles. And their abilities are specific to, what race they are and who they are as characters. But they're acting similarly to agents, but heroes can kind of have these extra abilities.
So by putting into the army, that gives the army those benefits, those buffs that they can
buffs,
give to them.
Debuffs, that kind of thing.
They can actually play a significant part on the actual battlefield. You can control them. They're there to actually be used and all that sort of jazz.
So there are differences. I mean, there's always elements of the traditional Total War, and there always will be with the sandbox.
Of course,
experience.
Of course, yeah.
Stuff like this does go to show how the fantasy universe is we're bringing in this universe and making it ours in a way, and making it a Total War Warhammer.
You're not afraid to take out the barriers, really, are you? You're happy to go and be above and beyond and say, right, okay, well, we're dealing with Warhammer here. Let's keep to the tradition of Warhammer. Let's not let Total War and how we've been doing Total War before stop us from going further into what Warhammer's all about. And that's great,
Well, it's about creating this, fantasy huge experience, but as we've said before, we're not stopping. Historical.
Oh yeah, guys, if you're watching, they are still doing history.
I mean, you don't have to play anything you don't want to, or you're not keen on. Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to do my best to convince you. Obviously,
the hype train will do that. As I said, yeah.
We're not stopping our traditional historical titles. I mean, we've said it before, so.
I mean, say it again. But
we will.
It certainly sounds like there's a lot of cool new features coming into Warhammer. Obviously you probably, certainly can't say, but I hope that, I said in my kind of Attila impressions video, I was like, whatever they do next, just take the gloves off, and I think Warhammer gives you this opportunity to be as creative as possible. And, I don't expect everything from it, but I'm hoping that a few things might trickle down to some of the historical stuff that just, especially when we're talking about like development of kind of RPG elements and things like that, just a few things in there that will just add, because a lot of emphasis has been depth with Warhammer, especially sort of talking about 4 playable factions to start with. It's about depth rather than loads of factions. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, and I honestly think this is a really good thing for the series, something different that we've not seen before.
Yeah, definitely.
It is refreshing. It's new, and it doesn't really take away from the fact that we do have an impressive historical back catalogue, and we're hoping to, see that into the future as well. But as taking on something new for us, Warhammer is such a perfect universe to merge with and have together. I think it's just going to be amazing, and I literally can't wait to play.
Is not objective, but are you hoping that you will encourage a lot of the tabletop players to start taking up Total War with this as well, with Warhammer coming in? Because obviously these are hardcore tabletop Warhammer players. Do you think a lot of them will go, oh god, this looks fantastic, let's play on the actual PC? Do you think that could happen? Do you think this
Absolutely. Like, I'm definitely hoping that's the case, because obviously we're very protective and guarded of the Warhammer lore, so we're not interfering with anything. So it is just a visual representation of stuff that it hasn't really been seen before. There's only so much you can do with magic, for example, on a tabletop, whereas this is an opportunity to visually see the impact of those spells, such as as we said, the Comet of Cassandora, just this huge comet from the sky, and in the demo, the Foot of Gork, the Bad Moon. These are all really classic spells.
You got to think of it like, I suppose, like a great novel being put onto film, isn't it? It's bringing it to life. That's what you do with Warhammer. You bring it to life visually.
There have been, I don't think has there been a Warhammer fantasy game before, like real-time strategy wise?
Not not like this.
No.
I don't think.
Because obviously, I mean, this
scale
is
isn't.
this is
scale's
this
not
is the
there.
first time it's probably reached the proper scale that it should be.
This is it.
Because obviously 40k is completely different, but there's obviously been the hugely successful Dawn of War series there. There was Mark of Chaos as well. But yeah, this, I mean, when you guys kind of first announced this, I went, actually, I still can't understand what those, the fans that don't feel this is a setting that will work. Just because to me, it just looks like it is the perfect matchup. Take this huge alternate history, fantasy, magic world and combine it with,
which people want,
a huge turn-based strategy, real-time strategy hybrid thing.
It seems like a perfect marriage of two really huge worlds, and I think Total War really gives you the opportunity to make every aspect of it, rather than just battles, every aspect your own.
Definitely.
Yeah, you should say it gives you that scale that games haven't really given to it before, and Total War is all about the scale of what it can achieve. So
talking
it's
about
beautiful.
Scale and kind of the map, I know you guys aren't saying much on the campaign map, you're being very tight-lipped about that, but there was a map shown in the cinematic trailer.
Yes.
Is that in some way proportional to the game, what we're going to see there? Anything?
And cities that were on there.
Well, it's not an in-game map, it is a drawing, but it is somewhat representative of the old world, but it does feature Altdorf, the main city, the main hub of the Empire. And yes, we will be showing more of those cities as we kind of expand and show campaign stuff, but at the moment,
I can't wait
we're
to
not
see some
showing
campaign
you
stuff,
anything.
because,
We tease you. Oh, no,
Well,
Jesus.
obviously.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the point, right?
Absolutely, yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been crying out for this sort of game, so I think that... And when I first saw the Warhammers coming out, I didn't really know... I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about Warhammer, but I love fantasy, so it's very quickly, the more I'm seeing it, the more trailers I'm seeing, it's starting to really interest me a lot, and I'm starting to really get into it, and I think that will happen for a lot of other people. I think you can't help but get into it as it goes along, and you're starting to look into the lore a lot more.
From a little bit of the lore that Joey's already said in
seems great.
This video, it's not just like I don't know, that there's not just like one period of like wars and stuff going on. There's not just one history. There's like so many different levels of it. Going all the way back to the foundation of the worlds and things like that.
And it's perfect for a Total War game, isn't it? You've got to
really
have that rich
deep
history behind it.
and rich, yeah.
Yeah.
There's loads of stuff that's really going on, and with the vastness and diversity of all of the races, like in their entirety, there's so much.
This is it, yeah. Can you clarify that for us, Joe? Because a lot of people seem to be concerned with them only having 4 factions.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough depth there, but I don't think people realise, when you talk about the Empire, when you talk about the Greenskins, it's not just that, it's all the subdivisions below them, isn't it, and things like that. It's quite a lot of... in terms of faction, you know what I mean?
There's deep internal issues with any race, with any area of expansive land, and that's definitely no different with Warhammer.
That's where we've kind of got to at the moment, looking at lords, legendary lords, heroes, and a few other bits that we've sort of touched on there. So
but at the moment, you say that, so it could be more. We could be doing a bit more of this
soon. TM.
But you wanted to ask our subscribers, didn't you?
Yes. Viewers, people of Rome. No.
Spartans! Sorry.
Anyone that has been watching this video, this episode of the Warcast Extra, if you have any questions about Total War Warhammer, feel free to throw them down in the comment section. Go crazy, ask as many as you want. Yeah. And as CA keep releasing more information, we'll get Joey back on here, and we'll do some like Q&A sessions with some of the questions you guys have got. So yeah, go nuts, ask whatever you want, and obviously as the information kind of starts trickling out that CA can start talking about, then we will be hopefully one of the first places you guys should come to hear those answers, especially if you have submitted that particular question. We'll be throwing it at Joey.
Yeah, I'll definitely do my best to answer as much as I can when we're kind of talking about stuff, but yeah, that'd be awesome.
It's a great combination, because not only is Joey part of the team and she knows how the game's developing, but of course she knows so much about Warhammer as well, so you can tell us a lot about the lore, so it's
Do you tutorial sessions on like Warhammer lore. You should totally do that.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I did some pretty funny videos on that. I mentioned earlier the colleges of magic.
Yeah.
So there's many different laws of magic within the universe, and there's some pretty interesting ones. I think I dressed up as a goblin and an orc.
Wow.
At a point, so yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think we should link Joey's YouTube's website down below.
Yes. Joey has a YouTube channel, so
Check it out.
Warhammer stuff.
Yeah.
I gotta say, a lot of it's old, as my primary focus is and will always be Total War Warhammer. But if you want to see some of the backlog, there is some kind of helpful
Yeah.
guides to
Check it out. Check
Wicked.
it out, guys. But yeah, it's been really good having you on, and we'll have you on again. Definitely, I think we'll.
Thanks for joining
try
us.
this on.
Yeah, I'd love to appear. Just occasionally, I'll pop up.
Yeah. A puff of
Just to do a
smoke.
Warcast.
Joey's here.
I don't know how to do that in editing yet.
Yeah.
Smoke machine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh
Right.
dear. Right then.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, we will see you
next
in the
time.
next Warcast or Warcast Extra. Whatever comes
Bye.
first.
Come on, let's awkwardly wave.
Oh, and 30th of July. Yeah. Stuff.
Yes, 30th July.
Stuff be coming.
Bring a new pair of pants.
Lots of pants.
You'll need them.
Bye,
Okay.
guys.
Ciao.